jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
If you beat Fendor, is that Crawford rematch most likely happening because he's fighting Madrigal?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Without giving away too much of the game plan, what are some things that what are some of the things that you guys see in Frank that maybe the world doesn't know that causes them to underestimate Frank?
I mean, you'll see Saturday night he's fighting the top level opponent. You know, he's fighting the guy at 135, best 135 pounder in the world.
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know Stick 'em Boys Fishing and Sports is the first in the building. Salute WCS, salute chat fam. Yes, sir. Brutal beatdown with humble will humble you. Want it? Yes, sir. In his case, yes. In his case, yes. Shout out to Sir Senior in the building. Salute. What's good with it, man? Y'all hold on for a second. I'm trying to bring up this next video. So we're going to get down to it, man. I'm hearing some of these sound bites from the previous presser. Originally, you know, I was hearing Spence talk about keep it on Frank, but he has his type. You know, he allows some cats to get away with popping off, asking him questions, and he has no problem, you know, answering them. But I guarantee you, if they look like me, he will continue to say, let's keep it on Frank. It's all about Frank. But Hey, there's some audio out there, some people that know how to finesse the situation, massage that question in to kind of blend into the night in question, July 29th back in 2023, where we all seen for ourselves when Spence started to bleed and Crawford was up there beating his ass with ease. It was just too fluent in motion. Nothing poetic. It just became copacetic that the Crawford fans, we was on the right side to begin with. Unlike the Aerosexuals being the worst fan base ever to exist. You feel me? Yes. Let's get down to the next soundbite of this situation where Errol Spence has popped his head out. And he is basically doing an interview with certain people, so to speak. And once again, I have sped up the video just so the listeners won't fall asleep, doze off, become snoozy. You know what I'm saying? Let's get down to it.
Hey, Spence, I just had one quick question as a boxer. You sparred Floyd, you fought the best around your era. You had your matchup with Crawford. What was different from when you sparred Floyd and fighting Crawford and things like that?
It makes a little difference because, Floyd's just different. I feel like he's the best fighter. I don't know about all time. He might be the best fighter all time. If not, he's close 2-3, yeah. And not by far. So it's just it's a little bit different things that Floyd does. And Floyd was a lot older when I sparred him, and it's just certain things that he does that that's really tricky. Like the guy we get in the clinch, he was like squeezing my head. So it's just certain things that he do in there. It's just veteran stuff, just veteran all time type stuff he was doing there. Even
like you're sparring to your professional fights from like Crawford, like Floyd would beat Crawford, would you think? I know that's just a fantasy match.
Man, I don't know.
I'm reaching,
I don't get into all that.
Yeah.
I don't know who went out. Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd. I don't know.
But for Floyd was the best work, just like mental games and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Your fight's going to be on PPV.com. How excited are you about getting back into the ring in Dallas?
Dallas is my home. That's where everything started. I'm very excited about it.
Are you embracing that whole idea of starting over, starting fresh?
Oh yeah, for sure. Starting over. Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. I'm more of a veteran now, so it's a bit different because I've been here, I've seen everything, done everything, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, I'm definitely listening because I know it's about to be over.
How many more fights would you say? I know you said maybe one, but come on.
I don't know, 1, 2.
So you hear Errol Spence. He's at a different mind state right now. This is not following the accident. This is coming off a fight that turned out to be an accident. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is letting y'all know that he don't have long left in the sports, which I like. Because why stay around too long with everyone scrutinizing your every interview and what you say, and especially when you split those ropes again coming off your first loss. If you doesn't look up the par like you're still able to compete at a high level, yes, it's gonna be people that's on here speaking on it. You know what I'm saying? Giving their assessment, evaluation. And I like, that Spencer saying I'm not gonna stay around here for a long time. I mean that's what July 29, 2023, the T-Mobile Massacre did to him.
I'm not one of those guys. I told you I'm not one of those guys that's gonna be fighting until I'm 45 and I'm punchy and walking over my feet. I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and they want to enjoy me. So definitely got to come to the end. So I'm definitely gonna get out while I still can and not either be forced out or I have to keep fighting because I need money.
Add one more belt though.
Yeah, but I just want to be healthy.
Thank you so much, Errol.
Appreciate your time.
Fresh produce is the best produce.
Interview.
Final thoughts on your possible next trainer? I know there's a few there in the Dallas area. I don't know if you're going to continue staying in the Dallas area, but any names that you could be,
Nah.
You think about training outside of Texas, and maybe you go to like the East Coast, some of your roots, maybe like out in New York or?
I don't know, man, but Frank fights Saturday.
More like he normally does before he turns on.
Hey, that's good for Frank, and we'll
You doing the first few rounds and continue to the mid rounds and
I'll be drunk. if Frank beats, that's to go. To be the best fighters. I think so for sure. As long as the boxing, as long as it's under the, they get they're unpaid. So but that's a lot of egos and pride. So I'm very impressed. I think he's ready. A lot of people criticize him for turning that, like, oh man, he gave us his opportunities, but a bigger opportunity came. People were waiting for, like, oh man, he gave us his opportunities, but a bigger opportunity came in Tank. So I'm very excited about it. The man, you know what I'm saying?
You gave him some business advice when he was considering Chick-fil-A?
I mean, Frank, I give Frank advice to listen to himself, and this is a major blessing. I feel like he's gonna show everybody why he is.
Okay, let's get down to the article, but yet I'm going to basically explain my part. This is the Hot Grease Chronicles EP 375 over year 2024 copy. Crawford credit approval. I thought I had the video pulled up where I put it up here yesterday, but it was one of those moments where finally, he was able to crack the egg, to crack the shell a little bit to that egg that he was carrying around with him, on top of his head, and start, really opening up to the media, because he was telling people, Frank. And I just feel that was like a deterrent just not to talk about what happened last year. We understand that your fighter, Frank, the only fighter that you have is fighting this weekend. We get it. But Frank Martin doesn't have the backstory like Spence has. Spence has the backstory. Spence, at one point in time, had the masses behind him from Texas all the way, to as far as you can see, with boxing fans being with him. At one point in time, he was supposed to be the man at welterweight. You know what I'm saying? And his name was a part of the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence potential for years upon years. Everybody was talking about, will this fight happen? Will this fight happen? Will this fight happen? And then finally it came to fruition. But as we know, leading up to that fight, there was some important words that was recorded in the trash talking. You know what I'm saying? In the transmission of trash talking, Errol Spence Jr. saying he was going to beat Terrence Crawford like Kunta. For most black people, understood what that meant. He was going to beat him like a slave. And I guess he got comfortable with listening to, his fan base talk about how Crawford was top-ranked Toby and he was working on the plantation and all that, to the point where he wanted to use it for laughs in the press conference. Not really knowing how deep that would register with Crawford. Not understanding how lethal, what mindset Crawford carried with him. He didn't understand. He underestimated him. You know what I'm saying? There were a modification to how seriousness he was taking Crawford at the time. He said he ain't fought nobody, just like he told Tank yesterday. He said he ain't fought nobody. He's gonna break him like Kunta. You know what I'm saying? And he pretty much said, you can't catch Moby Dick with a hook. He was playing in that Terrence, talking about he's a fisherman. When Terrence said he was gonna take off his belt, he said, I ain't your little boy. Spence, he has a switch to him where he can switch that shit on and get upset. And he ain't no bitch, man. He went in there and tried. He went in there and tried, real talk. But the whole lead up to this was that it was no credit given. It was no credit given, y'all. It was no credit given. They didn't want to be a man about it. They didn't want to be a veteran about it. They didn't want to do none of that shit. They wanted to keep on carrying on and act like they was hanging out at the freaking lounge at happy hour. And they had already put down about 6, 7, 8, shots. And they was feeling good about themselves. And they was saying some goddamn bullshit about Crawford as if he didn't rate to be where he was in the sport of boxing. So Crawford had to go in there and show him who was going to get beat like they was Kunta. You know what I'm saying? And when Errol Spence said, when I played the video yesterday, Spence put it out there. When it came to him, Crawford, fighting him, Canelo, Errol Spence gave Terrence Crawford his credit, and he believed that Crawford would beat Canelo. Now, as you go back in time now, you remember before they fought, they asked Errol Spence, now that you finish this fight, is it a high possibility that we're going to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford? Yeah, we can do that, but it'd be better if I went up to 168 and fought Canelo Alvarez. That's what he said. Stand up. Stand up. You know what I'm saying? Give him the mic and he'll tell you a joke. He put it out there, y'all. He rolled Crawford off, and he said it'd be better if he could go up and fight Canelo. But now, after that infamous day where there was no jury, y'all. There were 3 judges, but they didn't have to use no gavel. They didn't even have to use the goddamn pen to adjust numbers on this scorecard that was in front of them. None of that really mattered that night last year, shouting. That didn't matter. The only one that mattered was the third man in the ring supervising the fight, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that mattered. That was the only thing that mattered. We was finally here, and we was waiting for the opening bell to ring. Up to that point, Spence did not give Crawford any credit. Not like he did yesterday. Man, he gave Crawford credit. He gave him some more credit. He gave him some more credit. So much to the point where Crawford's FICO was probably sitting at a 933rd. You know what I'm saying? He gave Crawford so much credit, he can go out there and say, hey, I want to try to buy a portion of Pluto. Okay, no problem, Mr. Crawford. You're approved already. You have a credit score of 948. Yes, it just went up over 10 points. You know what I'm saying? From WCS speaking of. Yes, you can definitely buy a part of Pluto. Hey, we're going to give you a flat interest rate of 2.0, just 2% interest, and you're approved. The credit that Spence gave Crawford was something that people was waiting on. The people that would support him and knew that a Spence ain't been out here. He ain't really been talking. He been getting in, he's been getting out, in and out, just like Zorro. He hadn't been waiting around for no questions. And he had no other recourse of action except to face the music, because he had to show up for Frank. What is Spence gonna do? Go back to his room? He had to goddamn give it up. Spence had to give it up, Shawty. He ain't have no other recourse. He had to give it up. He gave Crawford his credit. And you know what that came from? Enforcement. He enforced his will on Spence in one of the most anticipated fights of this era, and he made it look EASY. And during the point of him providing that instruction and putting on a clinic, Errol Spence Jr. had time to reflect. Not the fact he had to walk back to that dressing room and face the reality that all that heavy lifting his fans was talking about. That shit is a non-conversation right now. That's mute. Nobody's talking about that. The fact that he was no longer in ownership of those 3 belts, even though, yes, he has those 3 belts at the crib now, and they should have gave Crawford his brand new belts, you know, but he was no longer considered the unified champion. Crawford had removed those titles from him. Now, some may say, well, you know, I heard people complaining that no one really knew Julius Ndongo, and no one really talks about that Undisputed. But Crawford was on a short list of names in the 4-belt era that became Undisputed. So if it was so easy, everybody would have did it. Jermaine Taylor, B-Hop, if it was so easy, everybody would have did it. It wasn't that easy. But you know what? They might have tried to dilute the fact that he became undisputed 140, but they couldn't deny the fact on what happened July 29th. They couldn't deny the fact that he beat respect into Spence. That was a boxing what's the word? That was a boxing execution. No shiesty mask on, mask off, straight get down to the point. He made it look too motherfucking easy. And that right there forced Spence to goddamn get that man his credit from Omaha. He had to give him his credit, man. You hear me, aerosexuals? He did something that you refused to do. Some of you gave a small percentage of 1.5, 3% of credit based off that freaking thrashing that happened last year. Now that your God, your Savior, your ruler, your King has came out and said what he said, it's time for you all to follow suit. You all need to come up here and get this man his credit that he beat Spence up just the way we seen it. You know what I'm saying? We seen it play out, especially those aerosexuals that was there in person. You seen how it went down. And all I'm saying, you heard Spence give credit to Crawford now. He has no other course of action except to take it straight up the middle and be a man about it and say, hey, I gotta give him his respect. Because I went in there co-signing me and Diddy James. We up here toting alone. He ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? We should have been much more smarter about that. But hey, everybody learn. Everybody's different. Seriously, we both talking about two undefeated fighters. They wasn't upstarts in boxing. They was two undefeated pound for pound fighters. And all we was waiting on is for the fight to materialize and become official. And then after that, we was waiting on the results and how they was going to play out. That's all we was doing. We was just waiting for that infamous day to hit. That's all. We was just waiting. We finally got a freaking date. And we was just waiting for everything to come into the pictures, for the stars align, for them to set the lights of the ring, you know, to get everything set, you know, set in stone, get the ring all nice and all that, to have the consumers come in and take their seats. That's all we was waiting on. And then the walkout after the coin flip. Oh man, it was just a beautiful day, shawty. That shit was beautiful. So much that after the fight, this man is now finally being forced to give it up. He had to give it up, y'all. Word up. That's something we used to say back in the day. Word up. Word. He had to come off of it, y'all. Errol Spence didn't have no other choice. He had to come off that credit. It was time to come off that credit, man. It wasn't no more holding it in. He tried. It's just all about Frank. It's all about Frank. No, you had to come off of it. You had to come off of it, bro. Because they was there. They was salivating, you know. And I know they heard WCS put it out there. Hey, man, these cats are not asking him. No, man, keep on digging, man. Keep swinging the shovel. Goddamn, bring it out. Pull it out of him, man. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Rally the chaos and mayhem. Let's go. I wonder, did they try that same shit they tried with Canelo when it came to Benavidez? Hey, if any one of y'all ask about Terrence Bud Crawford, you know we don't support him over here. Your credentials will be revoked. So it's all about how you answer the question. I don't feel I should goddamn, you know what I'm saying, foreplay into the damn, you know, to the end game. I ain't trying to go there and foreplay with a nigga for real. Some of these cats to be asking these questions, they want to take you through foreplay and shit. They want to massage your thoughts. They want to get you right. You know what I'm saying? They want to bring you down to a level of comfort. You know what I'm saying? They want to pucker up. For real, man. They want to, you know, they want to get you into that falsetto sense of lethargicness, right? And say, oh, well, do you think that you say that, let's just say, for instance, last year, you know, coming off your Dingus Ugas fight, and then you had a fight after that, I think. You know, after the 2022 fight, and then you was almost going into a year inactivity, and you went into a year of activity. How great was it for you to finally step in the ring in July 2023 and really, you know, fight the most anticipated fight of your life? How was that? And then, what did you learn from that fight? Was it everything you thought it would be? I mean, they try to take you through a whole freaking spa day. They want to take you through a whole spa day. Get your feet, you know what I'm saying? Get the mani-pedi, you know what I'm saying? Get you a massage. Put on the freaking ocean music. Have some women come in there and fan you down with some palm leaves and shit. And then before they ask you, that fight you had with Crawford, what did you learn? What did you take from that fight? Because it was a hell of a fight. You did so well. Wow, you really represented well as the unified welterweight champion. What did you learn from that fight? Because it was a battle. It was a fighter that get to the point. Are you still having some type of, you know, residual effects from that? Are you fully recovered? I know you're supposed to be fighting Fundora, but is it any, you know, residual effects from that? Because you was coming off the car accident with Danny Garcia, and then you had another accident with Terrence Crawford. That was a little different, though. You know what I'm saying? So 2 accidents in the last, you know, close to 5 years or whatever. How's your body holding up? Everything's okay? Okay, cool. So do you think you will be healthy enough to face Fundora after Crawford fight? Being that you and him was back and forth, mano a mano, showing the heart. Man, wearing that badge of honor. We love that fight. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hey, shout out to the News by Shaw News Sauce Experience in the building. What's good with it, Shalom? What's good? Salute, Team Tucker official on deck. He said it's about to be over with that laugh. Yeah, you know, I had to speed up the audio a little bit just to make it interesting and not to, you know, put those listeners to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I know people be on a time crunch over here. You know, shout out to the OG Mr. Golden on deck. Salute to you. Shout out to my bro, Mr. Gumbo, AK Hot Grease on deck with it. Salute to you. Blue Hustle is in the building. What's good with it, Blue? I had to put Blue Hustle on it because I don't want the other guy, that guy, to feel some type of way and you know, go tattletale on me and tell me I was talking about him in my chat. You know how he gets shit misconstrued. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing in the building. Salute to you. Haynes Legacy in the building. Salute. What's good with it, Haynes? Hope all is well with your brother. Shouts out to the Big Fish for keeping it 100. How dare you? We giving shouts out to the Big Fish? Now, hold up. Sir Senior. So we giving shout outs to the Big Fish now. Person who refused, rejected any idea, denounced their Sir Senior any credit until they forced Crawford's hand. We're talking about over and over again. This man wasn't getting no credit for nothing, bro. He was talking about Canelo Alvarez, man. This man wasn't getting no freaking credit, bro. He didn't want to dare cross that threshold of truth. He had to be shown, Sir Senior. He had to be shown. There had to be a demonstration for him to be a part of, for him to say, okay. When it comes to Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, I feel like I'm going for Crawford. I feel he gets it done based off, my experience. Of course, you saw what happened to me, right? Yeah, okay. I saw you post some of them pictures, in post fight of me. It was the way it looked. Now it was bad. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm just want to let you know. I saw the pictures that you posted, but being that I was able to answer the bell and go into the 9th round with him, and being that I wanted that whole moment to be a dream. I did. When you saw me sitting, on the stool, and I know many people have seen WCS continue to replay this when I'm sitting on that stool, but he was right about something. I was praying. I had my eyes closed and I said, Father God, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Please descend upon me and pull me out of this nightmare, for I want it to be a dream. I just want this to be a dream. Let us just go back just a little bit. Just take me back 30 days, Father God, so I can properly prepare. Now that I have felt it and I understand this was way out my league, take me back 30 days, Father God, because I am not prepared. Father God, if you can bless me and just have this fight in Texas, please, I will just bless me with this, Father God. I need this fight to be in Texas, because what I was just experiencing, please, when I open my eyes, Father God, let it be all a dream. He opened his eyes and that motherfucker was reality. It was a reality. Down by the river. That's what Spence wanted to go. He wanted to go down by the river, Sir Senior. And we can't sit up here and fake it like we supposed to give him 2 thumbs up for giving credit. When it took him, it took him from July 30th, 2023 to early semester 24 to let us know he wasn't going to be in the rematch. Why he didn't allow us credit of respect and say, well, I don't really want the rematch. I don't feel I'm prepared for the rematch. I want to go up to 154. I want to fight for a title. Even if Crawford had a title right now, I wouldn't want him to be the first opponent that I face at 154. Why? Because you all just saw what the fuck just happened and July 29, 2023. So with that being the way it is, I'm only being honest. Honesty is the core value of everything. And if boxing's never been about morals and principles, I'm here to be the trendsetter, y'all. I want to be the pioneer based off the ass whooping that Crawford gave me last year. Yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. And that's why the hot grease had to come over here and say that, the experience that he went through, and for Spence to give him the credit, approval, it was checkmate. That's all we've been talking about. Like the ones who rock with Crawford heavy, we pretty much knew this shit was gonna play out like that. But when we sit up here and experience how sour those individuals was coming out of Texas from that world-class furniture store, all of them saying the same thing. Oh, who did he fight? Who did he fight? He ain't fought nobody. Who did he fight? He ain't fought nobody. Who did he fight? He ain't fought nobody. Same shit over and over again until it came down to a condition. You know what I'm saying? They had to be a part of a condition. That condition was going in there and proving to the people that everything they were saying about Crawford and they was going to beat him like Kunta, they had to prove it. They had to go in there and make sure that people understood that they was on to something. You know what I'm saying? They was on to something. That's all. They say, hey, we've been telling you all. They wanted it to be prognosticated like Crawford did when he said he was going to stop Spence. They wanted that prognostication, the check mark, to be like Crawford when he said, oh, when I beat him, they're going to say he was weight drained. They wanted it to be that way. They wanted their words to be worthy enough and put on notice that they was going to live up to everything that they've been talking about for years. And his freaking puppets. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a lot of string pulling out here. It was a lot of hands in the back leading up to that fight. And the good thing about this admission by Errol Spence finally, coming out and being forced to basically give credit to Crawford, bro. It was lovely. It was freaking lovely. Let me tell you, it was lovely. It was lovely. It was freaking lovely. It was freaking lovely. And still to this day, y'all, that shit continues to be very affectionate every time I talk about it to these aerosexuals. I know they had thought that I wouldn't give an update to the 1 year anniversary, but it's 46 days to the 1 year anniversary of the T-Mobile massacre. 46 days there, aerosexuals, until we celebrate once again. When I say we, I'm talking about the Spence, not the Spence fans, but we're talking about the fans that was behind Crawford every step of the way, and the ones that knew he was going to go in there and not only beat up Errol Spence, but his fan base also. I mean, I don't think it's enough money that could be donated to Crawford to thank him for banishing an entire fan base called the aerosexuals. I love it. You know, when you have something that continues to hinder, you know what I'm saying, the natural, carefree state of mind, you know what I'm saying, you get rid of it. You know when people ring the bell when they're cancer free? Real talk, and much respect to those who have did it. It's no knock on them. But you know when they ring the bell to say they have beat cancer, that's somewhat like you ring the bell to know that ding dong, the aerosexuals are done. They have been put to rest. And see, with this 1 year anniversary, it's not going to just be the fish fry. It's going to be a 1 year anniversary of the memorial services of those aerosexuals. The worst fan base ever to support a fighter in boxing. I just need to put that out there. I just need to put it out there. That's all. He finally kept it real. So I said, shout outs to Deep Fried. My bad, the Big Fish. Hey, man, I was just, you were able to say what you want to say. I was just, saying in general, like, credit. This dude went damn near, he did. He went into the next year without even speaking to his fans, without even acknowledging that Crawford did the damn thing and what's his next move. He didn't care, bro. Like, you had some real hardcore fanatics, some diehard aerosexuals supporting you. The ones who was blinded with cataracts also leading up to that fight. They was behind you. At least you could have did after the massacre has taken place and you was in a state of recovery. You could have just reached out and said, hey, you know what? To everyone, to all of you, the ones that still remaining by my side, all 12 of you, I appreciate your support. I look forward to coming back, even though I'm not going to have that many fights remaining. I look forward to coming back. And, I appreciate y'all support. And I look forward to fight week where I can go over there and, talk about it. The one thing about I was waiting on somebody to kind of get him to open up about was, his fight. I still haven't heard him open up about Crawford's fight. This is unusual, bro. You hear people always talking about if a person lost, right? It's open season. Like Devin Haney's gonna have to go through this situation too. He's gonna have to be faced with the questions of him losing to Ryan Garcia. But what his attachment is that Ryan Garcia tested positive and there's been a whole lot of controversy. So he doesn't really have to, feel the tip of the shovel a little bit when they digging for goddamn answers and digging for the damn dirt. He has a little bit to go off of where he was cheating, he's this and that and all that. But with Errol Spence, it's clean. It's very clean. He's going to have to stand up. He's going to have to stick his chest out. And when it comes time for him to fight Fundora, whether it be October, November and shit, that man would have been out the ring. I'll say August, September, October. Let's see, November. That'd be 16 months. That'd be 16 months he out of the ring. And he's stepping there with Fundora, who's coming off a war of attrition, where both fighters had injuries. Tim Tszyu had a split on his head, and Fundora had a broken up nose. But Spence, he's coming off a 16-month layoff from one of the worst beatings in his career. So therefore, it's going to be interesting, to hear what he has to say, because he can't come in here with that frivolous talk and say, hey, well, it's all about Sebastian Fundora. It's all about for that. We talking then about just for that Sebastian Fundora. I ain't talking about that guy. No, you got to talk about it. I just wish Spence was with a different promotion when that fight came up with Fundora. I wish he was signed to another promotion. Real talk. That's all I'm saying. Arnold Brown is in the building. Salute to you. Sir Senior said, BBE, Bud beats everyone, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Mike on deck. What's good? What's good? See you in the building. Mr. International Toby Bartlett on deck. Salute WCS and the hottest chat on the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. Yes, sir. The grease is still hot, and there's still more fish to fry. Yes, we have 46 days, people. But we do have approximately 2 days until Frank Martin goes in there against, in the toughest fight of his professional career. I don't know what to make of this shit. I don't know what to make of it. I know this is not a Frank Martin live, but I'm just saying, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. That's all. But I hope Errol Spence, is walking around just a little bit lighter than carrying that onus around with him, because it just seems like it was just holding him down, like he had, bilateral shackles. You know what I'm saying? He had a freaking weight hanging around his neck. You know what I'm saying? He had some weights hanging from his wrist. He was just carrying around that burden of happened to be asked about last year. And he still haven't went into detail about that shit. Like when you want to talk about giving credit, he has to be in an interview where the questions are strictly about that day. You know what I'm saying? He has to be in the line of fire. He has to be able to understand that this is going to be an interview and this is going to be live fire. And the questions is coming down range. Yes, it's going to make you think a little bit. But if you relax and you just be honest and you just tell the people, listen, when they ask you about the second round and you was knocked down from a jab, just tell them what you felt. Just say, okay, when he bumped me off with his shoulder, what you felt. Damn. Because he already said that in the post-fight conference. He kind of said, damn, he's stronger than I thought. But we need to hear more about what you was thinking about as the fight went along. You know what I'm saying? What did you experience? You know what I'm saying? Was there changes that you felt that you tried to make that you didn't train for? because, you know, it's almost like y'all was fighting on the merit. It wasn't broke, don't fix it. So you didn't know how to fix what was actually going on with Crawford because you didn't expect it. Y'all didn't expect him to give you what you was receiving. And it played out the way it did. He had you cooking in that hot grease too. Seriously, he had you cooking in that hot grease, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For real. For somebody to sit up here and dominate the way they did. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad at me for continuing to go and submit public pictures. You know what I'm saying? Public pictures of money shots like this. That jab. Oh, two southpaws going at it. When they said Terrence Crawford really ain't no freaking switch hitter. And Terrence say, you know what? Today you might be right, because I'm going to fight southpaw the whole entire fight. And what you going to do about it? And what Spence going to do about it? I mean, some of these are some of the best money shots you can get as a photographer. God damn. The mad scientist, Bo Mac, why? Why, bro? Why would you tell him to turn the jab into a hook? Who told you to pay attention? Damn. Shit, somebody bring the donkey around. It's time to go. Somebody bring him around. Bring the jackass around ASAP. I got to get up out of here. Bring it around, goddammit. It's just serious, man. Shout out to Joseph Bailey in the building. Salute to you, man. Bud knocks some sense out of Spence. Yeah. You know, he did knock some things a little bit loose. Sometimes you have to allow things to become loose to go back in there and fix them. Not retighten them, but fix them, make adjustments. That's what happened to Spence. That's why he gave Bud his credit. Over time, these months that he had to take off from July 30th, 2023 to now, there's been a lot of reflection. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of you going to think I'm being, you know, a little bit petty. But I'm just thinking outside the neurological headquarters. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Spence had an ayahuasca. He might have had an ayahuasca we don't know about. He might have went out there and grabbed some, you know, some people that can take him to the rainforest. He might have found a shaman that promised him, hey, I can take your mind off this to the point where you won't hold it. You can be honest with yourself. You can remove that damn weight off you, brother. Maybe he went to the real authentic ayahuasca. Now, people might confuse that. I didn't say him going into a GNC and purchasing some ashwagandha. I said maybe he was out there and he was able to link up with a shaman for a ayahuasca, not ashwagandha. Okay? Maybe that's the reason why his head seemed a little clearer and he was able to come to his senses, man. By all means necessary. That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted. We wanted him to give credit where credit was due. You know, Terrence Crawford was due a reward. You know, respect and compensation for pain and suffering, for punitive damages that occurred leading up to that fight when these motherfuckers was out here running a smear campaign. Yes, he deserved all that shit. And one person that should apologize for his fan base is Errol Spence Jr. You should definitely apologize and let it be clear and apparent. Hey, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But on behalf of myself and them other idiots that was behind me supporting, I apologize. Because we had them all wrong, yo. We should have left that cornerstone right where it was instead of going over there fucking with it. We should have just mind our fucking business. We should have damn bigged them up and said, hey, you know what, we're going to take them serious. We're not gonna say he ain't fought nobody and what he did up to this point, nobody respect, and he ain't did nothing. I'm gonna prove it to the, who did he fought? Sean Porter was washed up. He was in retirement. Kell Brook already broke his eye and all that. You shouldn't have did that, bro. And I think one of the culminating points is when he went on hot boxing with Mike Tyson. And Mike came bearing gifts, even though he attempted to go in there and check a legend. Do you know that Mike has already been through this? What I'm trying to tell Spence that he needs. Mike Tyson's already been through this. That's why he's so calm. You know what I'm saying? Mike has already been to the dark side, bro, and came back to the light. He did. I don't know for sure if Spence is enjoying the light right now, because it's still like you can be in the light, but yet you can have that cloud cover following you everywhere you go. And that cloud cover is, coming to your senses, being honest with yourself and say, I need to come clean about what happened last year. I need to come clean to my people that supported me about that particular fight. Because yes, I did take the shirts down when he fought David Avanesian, only to have an ulterior motives to put other shirts up of the Smoking Bud Pack, which ended up being my demise. That's all I'm saying, people. That's all I'm saying. I hope Frank Martin Rainwalk music is Baby Shark. Damn. Don't do it, Frank. Don't do it. Don't listen to Toby, Frank. Don't listen to Toby, Frank. Don't do it. Do not bring your ass out here with any type of song that deals with fishing. Please don't do it. I am pleading with you, don't do it. Because if you didn't see what happened to your mentor, you better leave them fishes where they at. Because a lot of fish I know, they on the plate. They're on somebody's plate. They're a dish. They're a meal. And you know what happened when you eat something, right, people? Sooner or later, once your digestive system processes it, you know what happens next. You know what happens next. That shit come out and it plops in that goddamn pool of water. You know what happens. Ain't nobody trying to deal with that shit. But I'm going to leave you with this right here because I have to come on here a little bit later. I just wanted to leave you all with this. I want to pretty much come over here. I haven't did a hot grease segment in a minute, but we're going to continue to hope that today, we're going to hope today that Spence is out walking around and somebody else get an interview with him. Like I said, I've been busy. I'm going to go back out there and see if it's any more interviews with him and that somebody can get him to talk about this. I want to see if there's anybody out there that can get Spence to talk about that T-Mobile massacre. Really, he hasn't did it yet. The fact that he gave him credit, cool. That was about another fighter. You know what I'm saying? That was about another fighter, but we want him to give him credit for what happened with him inside the four-corner battleground, July 29th in Las Vegas. And has he fully recovered from the T-Mobile massacre? And please, those of you media guys that's out there, ask him, do he get offended when he hear people quote WCS about the T-Mobile massacre? He probably gonna say, fuck him. I know it's bound to happen, but just ask him, say, hey, how do you feel inside about hearing the T-Mobile massacre? You know what I'm saying? When people feeling that you went in there and it was just the pictures that's out there, it was just a slaughter. This is after you and your trainer said, who is he fought? He ain't fought nobody. I'm gonna break him like Kunta. Do you feel like Kunta cursed you? Do you have any words for your people if they're in boxing to ever say that they're going to break their opponent like Kunta? Do you suggest that they use those words based off your results and you're using them leading up to the fight with Crawford? Do you believe that you would recommend that to them? That's all I'm saying. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Shout out to Team Tucker. Shout out to Shaw News. Shout out to that 11-year-old photographer. Future entrepreneur, Nasiah. Great steals. You know what I'm saying? Great freaking fight week over there. Jahad Tucker picking up his 13th professional fight, improving to 11 victories in the books. That's what I'm talking about. Keep on grinding, bro. Keep on marching and keep on progressing. That's what it's all about. And you know what? You don't have to worry about the haters. The haters, you're never going to be able to convince all of them on the shit you're doing. It's going to be long standing. They're going to look back on and say, damn, I knew that nigga when he was starting this shit. Look at him now. Hey, you can't tell everybody to get on board. Sometimes you got to act like it ain't enough room because you really don't want them in your space because it's so positive. God damn it, you're moving. And they trying to sit up here and bring an anchor on board. Oh, let me slow this shit down now. Let me slow this shit down. This nigga moving too fast. But y'all hold it down. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Peace. I'm out.